Hey, welcome once again to the last session for this weekend for the Arts and Healing Festival. And I'm not an expert, though people think I am. I am still a learner and a student. And the whole topic is about managing work-life balance in this world. Now, I want to understand when we say remote world, what is your understanding of remote world? What does remote world mean? Everyone's brains are fried, guys. Sorry, we've had a long day today with back-to-back sessions. Anyways, I'm going to fill it up and then you all can give me the blanks that are left. You all can use your words to it. In the modern day world that we are in today, our environment, especially when it comes to work, a lot of it is conducted remotely, which means through online and digital platforms without being physically present in a traditional office or workspace. Now, this shift has become increasingly common due to advancement in technology, of course, thanks to pandemic, because that's when it started off. But it enables people to work, communicate, and collaborate from different locations around the globe. Uh, it's a fab space to be in because you are connected all over, right? Universally, you can do things. Uh, but in a remote world, employees, students, professionals, we use tools like Zoom, what we are doing today, conferencing, and there are multiple messaging apps, cloud-based software. God alone knows so many other things which I'm not even aware about. Um, and they have to be there and still maintain productivity. What I have heard and I have also seen and experienced to some extent is this setup often blends the boundaries between personal and professional life, as the physical separation of a workplace or school from home is diminished, right? So it also refers in a broader societal changes, such as I maybe think we'll have remote learning in any case. Now we have virtual social connections. I'm wondering how healthcare is going to become. Mental healthcare तो happens remote in any case. Telemedicine का क्या होगा? So it leaves you with those kind of thoughts, right? But just setting the tone today that this is going to be a very interactive session. It's not going to be one-sided. It's going to be boring if we do that. I want to understand how well do you think you balance your work and life? If you don't feel like using words, use emojis on your screen. That's absolutely fine. You can also make a face and show me.
I think I am definitely just learning because it's very difficult to choose priorities many a times because we can bring work home, okay, but we can't bring home to work. Okay, so there are a lot of residues of home that we take to work also.
Right.
So still learning to create this balance. One thing that
Mhm.
I really do is keep the Sundays for myself. Of course, I'm not speaking about today.
Yeah, and this is to be clearly taken away. So,
But generally, that's what I do because I work in a setup which doesn't I'm working 6 days a week. So
okay.
Sundays off is something that I really do for myself. That is the only thing probably I'm doing
But that's
to
great.
maintain a balance. Yeah.
Okay.
Try very hard many a times. You
Okay.
know, with online work, there are clients who prefer Sundays, and there are times where it's difficult to
Hmm.
be assertive at those times. So yeah, trying hard.
Anyone else? No one else?
I think for me, this entire shift to hybrid working has just come into the picture, right? For the past 2, 3 months, that is what I have uh,
Yeah.
dwelled into. And in all reality, as much as I try to maintain that balance, I feel because I'm at home, I can take in more work. Um, like there is still so much time which is there. I can still do so much. There is still so much which is possible. Um, so where does then for me the lines don't exist. Like they are clearly just not there. Okay, and I can't create that boundary. For me, it is difficult. Um, yes, I genuinely can't say that nay, it's 6:30 now, I'm not going to take sessions. Though in recent past there was someone who asked me if I can, if I'm available at the center at 7:30 to come in for an interaction. I'm like, no, sorry, it's very late and I won't do it. But I think that is the first time when I was able to say that and without the fear that probably this client may not turn up. Um, what I do realize is when it is you working from the home front, you are ready to take in those online sessions as many as possible. And then you genuinely, because we work with the world, right? Anywhere and everywhere. You don't realize how the timings are going to interfere with your set of timing as well. And it was only recently that Zil drew to my notice that, okay, the clocks are going to change in no time. What are we going to do then? And because the daylight savings begin at the other end, and we are like, oh, okay, that is something which I did not really think about on a conscious level as such. But it's going to be an interesting experience to say the least. But yeah, maintaining that work-life balance at that time may probably hit me in the face then. So yeah.
Okay. In the same breath, I'm asking, which area of your life needs more attention, work or personal?
Both need equal attention.
Okay.
For me,
Presently, you feel both need equal?
yeah.
Anybody has a different view?
I think my personal life needs a little more attention because
Okay.
I am extremely driven when it comes to ethics relating to work. So I give probably, okay, let me put it like this. I feel I give 300% at work, which is not required. But for my personal life, I might just be giving 94% for myself. When I'm saying personal life, I'm only focusing on self. I'm not focusing on the outer aspects, like taking care of people at home. No, I'm speaking about self. So I feel my personal life needs a little more attention from my side.
Okay. Okay.
Self का तो सोचा ही नहीं in all reality.
नहीं.
Yeah.
Dwani, you were saying something?
I was just saying when Anusha brought up self, I was like, oh, okay. Because work for most people is whatever you do outside of the home, but really even within the home and with raising two children, oh my God, it's just insane and it's invisible. Um, but it's so much work and it's almost like you have four brains inside you. For me, it's, myself, my husband and two kids and all their brains are inside me and I have to use parts of my brain for everybody. So, and plus, when you're working outside, then you're also lending yourself there and it's just a lot. And you find that there's nothing really that you're doing for yourself. So, like I was saying, us girls in the building have got together and once a week we do this thing. It's literally to do that, to get away from everything and just do something that's just for our pleasure and ourselves.
So then, from whatever you all are sharing, what is the biggest challenge you face when balancing work and personal life?
For me, I don't want to displease anybody because then they'll feel she doesn't care for me or she doesn't do enough for me. And then I guess in a lot of ways I'm ending up displeasing myself because I really don't find time for myself then.
Hmm.
I'm on the same lines as that.
Yeah.
Can't say no. I mean, whatever it is, just be agreeable and go with it. You know, there are times when I feel I don't even know if I want to do this or if I don't want to do this, but I'm just going with the flow because I don't have time to think otherwise.
Hmm. Have you seen that meme on Instagram where they say we all say go with the flow, and go with the flow is that full ripple ride,
Yeah.
and that boat is just going anywhere, and we're like, oh, we're going with the flow. Hmm. Okay. Share one tip or strategy that worked for you to sometimes bring the balance. Yeah.
Not picking up work calls at home, or not calls also. I mean, messages of, appointments. So the rule I have created for myself is, I know that's not a very proud thing to say right now, but 10 p.m. later.
Hmm.
I think I should have brought it really earlier, but 10 p.m. later, I am not going to respond to client messages also, forget calls, because that is the only way if I can emphasize that I have a world to myself.
I think that's a learning. And Yogi, I don't know if Yogesh is around here, but that's a learning from him. 10 बजता है, 9:30 10 बजता है, उसका Wi-Fi is hot, it shuts off. Meaning he is not seen. He may be doing his own thing, watching his own stuff. Nobody knows, but that's his time.
Yeah.
And I think none of us, at least even me, I can't switch off. It's very difficult. Even if somebody tells me put the phone on silent in the night, I'm unable to do it.
Yeah. Same here.
Though now, I think what worked is, now sharing one strategy that worked with me is I didn't do it. My son changed timing on my phone on sleep mode. I didn't realize it.
Wow.
And it worked. So what made me realize was maybe if I'm not able to do it, I can ask someone to do it for me. There is this thing that maine nahi kiya. But automatically the system falls in place and then you start falling in place. So silly thing, but it worked. Okay. All of us have pen paper with you just because we don't want to get. I want to do a work life wheel. You know what that is? Okay. You're going to create like a pizza circle with sections. Sections like work, family, self-care, hobbies, because now we've spoken of self also, right? Divide them into sections, and what are your reflections of each area? Which area needs improvement for you? Just for your sake, okay? We are not doing this for anyone else. And if you need some extra help, or I will give you some more ideas, but I'm saying start off with this.
What are the sections?
You tell me what kind of sections will be there.
Work,
Then,
self.
so your career work becomes one, family becomes the other one. There is health and well-being. There's personal growth. There's finances, social life and friends, leisure and fun, spirituality, your home environment, community service, self, personal growth, self can be part of that whole thing. So there are multiple, okay? But these are typically the 10 areas that we look into. What I want you all to do is, you may not want to add all the 10 right now, which is okay. But I would like you to review these sections, okay? Assess which area of your life may need more attention so that you're able to create a better balance. So what you do is when you draw it, when you draw the circle, But when you're drawing your pizza slices, see which slice is bigger and which is smaller. Just a simple way of doing it. Okay, I'm going over again. Career, work, family, health and well-being, personal growth, self, finances, social life and friends, leisure, fun activities, spirituality, mindfulness, that part, home environment, meaning cleaning the house, cleanliness kind, and community, right? A lot of people like to do community engagement and volunteering. 10 areas. See what is the slice like of your pizza. Got it? Some idea? Have you been able to look at it and assess individually which part of your life may need more attention or may need more balance? Do you see any overlaps? Yeah? You want to share what is an overlap you saw?
For me, the section, so I got 11 sections. Okay, I didn't even get 10. And I think I was not able to really grasp onto the sections which you gave. So I made up my own.
That's fine.
So I added hobbies and interest and exercise as a goal. And both are so small. And I didn't realize when that switch came into picture. So yeah, something for me to reflect back on. And the hobbies section is the smallest, like it's the tiniest, which is very it's like an eye opener for me. So
Can't believe, but strangely, absolutely accurate to what Zinia said. just that I'm ashamed to even plot my physical wala.
Yeah, but we are all in the same boat. When I did mine, I just put like spikes out. The health and the self are the tiniest pieces possible. And I'm like, wow. Interestingly, work and family have taken a lot of this.
Yeah, same here. I think work has taken more.
And supposedly finance has, because work and finance go hand in hand, right?
So my answer to you about overlapping was work and finance.
I made community and it was small. I'm like, "Arey yaar, community work hi nahi ho raha hai." Then I like, Zil, you don't know what community work you're doing only because there is no line of bifurcation only there. So actually a lot of community work, I end up seeing as leisure, which is warped. Okay. So clearly but this is interesting, right? Now, when you have it visually in front of you, it makes us realize, okay, now how do I start trying to balance? When you cut your pizza also, it's not equal as much as we want it equal, okay? Some are going to be bigger pieces, some are going to be small, it's fine. But we can't have absolutely vague sizes, right? Because that's the off balance. Your pizza, your toppings, your flavors. Figure out which one needs more attention and how we are going to balance it out, okay? Because each one of us has a very different way of doing it. I'm only going to give you ideas to help you to take action. Once that your reflection is done, okay, then you can set priorities, right? That you can start focusing on one or two areas and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do first. You heard of SMART goals, right? Set specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound goals. So, for example, I will dedicate. Now, I'll tell you what I have done today. Today, I have gone and paid up and said something for wall Pilates. And I said, how much time I can give? 15 minutes in a day. I've been very conjuice with it, but I know that is a very doable. I'll be able to do it. I won't feel rotten about it later. So I will dedicate 15 minutes every day to do my wall Pilates for the next 4 weeks. So that becomes the actionable goal. So I'm saying figure what you would want to do. Also, break your goals into smaller manageable tasks. So if you're focusing on health, your steps towards it may include scheduling workouts, meal planning, and improving sleep habits. One of the things which we are going to do a little in detail is setting boundaries, because we don't know how to say no. All of us are saying we don't know how to say no. Okay? Because we are unable to set the boundary between work and personal, and that gets blurred. So like we said, a specific time to log off and creating a separate workspace even within the home environment. So when we are even doing digital online sessions, have a separate space to do it where you don't mix it with your other activities, because then it gets very, very difficult. Celebrate your small wins, because we forget to do that. Recognize and celebrate the small improvements you make, because that will motivate you and it will help you strive the balance you're looking for. And if you feel you need to seek support, share your goals with your friends, family, or a mentor. Okay. Discuss with your colleague or your supervisor if they're work related. Sometimes that one irritating friend is really helpful because they keep coming and ignoring it. Did you do it? Did you do? Did you do? If that helps, go ahead and do that. Okay. But I think that can work well. Yeah, makes
Um,
sense.
I think for me, most often, what has worked is just throwing my hat over the fence. Then I have to go and retrieve it. So very often I'll just say, oh, but how am I going to do it? And then I go and sign up for something and I'm like, now I've signed up. So now
Yeah.
everyone has to adjust around me somehow and I have to adjust around everybody and somehow I have to do what I have to do.
Correct.
It brings in a lot of anxiety. So I'm not saying it's the best way, but sometimes if that's the
But
only
it's
way, then,
working for you.
yeah,
Absolutely. But then you'd also see that, okay, knowingly that you're doing this, is there any other way you can?
sure.
Right? Okay. Self-care challenge for everyone who's watching me and hearing me right now. Tell me one small, and I'm saying small, okay? I'm purposely using this word. Small self-care activity you can do in the next 24 hours.
I want to say sleep.
Okay. So decide how much sleep.
Yeah, sleeping on time.
Okay. So your challenge, you're saying in the next 24 hours, you're going to sleep on time, which means tonight you're going to sleep on time? Or
Absolutely no scrolling.
okay. So tonight, Anusha's goal, self-care is sleep on time.
Yeah.
Dhwani, what's yours?
Honestly, doing these sessions was self-care for me. So
Absolutely.
I
Can
would say my
you
goal.
record that and you put it so I can put it out everywhere for everybody to listen?
Yes. And then I think maybe I'll journal. I haven't done that for a long time.
So in 24 hours, you are going to start journaling.
Yes.
What are you going to do?
Hydrate myself.
Superb. If you're here, what are you going to do in the next 24 hours? Okay. Tell me, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do in the next 24 hours. I'm going to start reading a book that I'm carrying with me since the last 15 days and not opened a page to it. Okay. And I really want to read that. So I'm going to, instead of binging on Netflix, I will read the book before I sleep tonight. Okay. And tomorrow, all of you let me know, okay, if you all did this after 24 hours. Okay. Because this is a practical commitment to ourselves, small one, which is very doable. Why doable? I'm not saying I'm going to read the whole book. Even if I'm able to read 1 page or 2 page, super. Give yourself credit, and that's the small win I'm saying. Celebrate it. Okay. Next one, digital boundaries setting. We talk of boundaries, okay, but we forget digital boundaries. I want you to figure out one digital boundary you will do for yourself this week. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I am not going to have my phone when I'm having my meals, at least one meal. Otherwise, very often the phone is there. I'm going to have one meal without my phone. Checking mails or, just looking at Instagram or one meal without. Same way, you all take a call, what you all want to do.
No scrolling post 10. When that clock says DND, matlab genuinely DND. Put your phone away.
Okay.
I think for me, I feel no scrolling is definitely there, but I feel when I first feel like stopping, I will stop. That is, my husband keeps saying, enough now, you know? Okay. And not that I am addicted, but it is very exciting and gratifying. So I am not going to be saying, you know what, 5 more minutes. I'm not going to be saying that. So be it anything, I mean, not only social media, I
Hmm.
feel even um, YouTube or other stuff that I am watching or Netflix. So the first cue that I am receiving, I am going to be stopping then and there, and I am going to be listening to my cues much more. That's what I'm saying.
Great. Listening to yourself is by itself a self-care, right?
Hmm.
Because most of us don't listen to it. Now, why are we doing this? For the ones who may wonder if they suddenly start seeing or if they've not heard any of the topics during the festival, you prevent burnout, you improve productivity, you're enhancing your mental health, you're fostering better relationships, you are promoting better sleep, you have time for personal time, for hobbies and extra activities you want to do. Also, you're protecting some amount of privacy, right? Because constant digital engagement doesn't really work, and you empower control over time
Yeah.
instead of giving your control to something else, to time. So in a larger perspective, it really works well. Great, guys. So we know that. I hope the ones who listen to us also start putting these things down. Also, I think taking breaks like a stretch, de-stretch, we've spoken a lot about it, like a short 5 minute stretch, a breathing exercise, just stretching your arms, necks, back, literally what Zina was doing right now. With just some couple of breaths is good actually, just to come back to where you are. Okay. And that also helps us. It sounds कि अच्छा इसमें क्या होगा? But when you're really glued to something, it helps you break and come back to it. So that works. Now tell me, how do you set a boundary for yourself? A healthy boundary for yourself. Are you able to set a healthy boundary? Difficult?
Very different.
I
Oh.
feel there is a compulsion in a lot of ways to give in and say yes, because that entire concept of saying no is, it's always looked down upon, right? So, like for me, this is, and I think this is something which I really need to work on. If there is a client, if there is on our groups, if there are messages coming in from a parent, I can't not reply in that moment by itself. That parent may have not even read my message for the next 2 days. But for me, it's like I need to at least be there on my toes and reply. Because blame game mere pe nahi aana chahiye. Like this is literally where I come from. Like I am on high alert the minute I see a WhatsApp or an iMessage or whatever. So for me, it is in that moment I need to reply. That is why even um, that entire concept of 10 baj gaye to no replying, no scrolling, whatever, I think it comes into perspective even for that.
Mm. Okay. Anyone else has something for this?
I think it goes very much in sync with what we spoke yesterday in the
Hmm.
panel discussion, that we are so in tuned with people pleasing and seeking
Hmm.
validation. हाँ मैं कर रही हूँ ना, हाँ you're not upset, right?
Hmm.
That no saying is never given an option as a kid, as an adult, and we choose it now. We don't even know that we have been doing it unknowingly. So it actually becomes a task to say a no. Clients and even to personal life, personal commitments. So
I think, oh, sorry.
yeah,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I think I've learned to kindly say no, perhaps. Maybe explain myself a little bit. Sometimes if I feel I may end up hurting the opposite person. But it's still a clear no, I just can't. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
It's really difficult to do that, but I've come to a point where sometimes I just do that. But I explain and I'm very kind about it. I'm very mindful that I'm kind about it
It's really nice, actually.
because it gives me anxiety if I'm not kind about it. Sometimes I just want to say, no, get lost, you know.
Okay. So what, you know that little pizza we made, right? What you can do a little later. Now I'm thinking because we're all battling with time and battling with aspects of it, right? Another interesting strategy is time audit. You know what time audit is? Uh, like how we made sections, right? You write down typically how much time you spend on a daily in different categories. Work kitna, breaks kitna, personal task, family. Okay. So you can do it within those pieces itself, you'll get an idea. Reflect on whether your current schedule reflects the values and priorities you actually believe and want to follow it. And then what changes would you or can you make to bring more balance? Okay, so that time audit can also help. Like, for example, Anusha, you were talking of sleep, right? Yes, in all probability, we want 8 hours of sleep. But if you're not getting eight, and if you're doing only, say, 5 hours, can the five become 6 hours? Right? And then the six can become six and a half, maybe. And then that's how you start building to it. Like for me, what I said, the exercise, 15 minutes a day for 4 weeks. And I've given myself 4 weeks because I know that consistency is an issue with me. So I'm working on the consistent aspect that if I'm able to do that regularly, then I'm pretty sure automatically it won't be 15, it is going to increase more. But I'm not putting that on me because I'm like, oh God, 1 hour, where will I remove? I don't want to do that. So committing to yourself where you're going to be able to follow it. So take in your plate how much you can chew, right? It's literally like that. So the time audit is another thing that you can do. Okay. Are there any questions you guys want to ask about this work-life balance instead of me talking?
This conversation by itself is such a reflection.
Mm.
But questions aren't really coming up at the moment. It's just a lot of realization sets in. Uh, with the entire pie that we made, the work life pie, it's so much that is going on. It's quite chaotic. There are certain behaviors which you hold which are not benefiting you, also leading to stress in so many ways to put,
Yeah.
almost pushing you to this sense of burnout, uh, being in a scope of or walking on that line of anxiety again every time. And it is all self-induced, right? I mean,
Absolutely. We are nobody to blame. We are the ones who
yeah,
want more. We are not satisfied.
exactly. Like when I think about it from the opposite perspective, I'm like, they don't even care, right? I mean, whether it be our clients, whether it be people in and around us, whatever it is, it may not even hold so much of importance to them as much as you are giving it a thought of day. So really something to think about. Also, जितना मैंने ये last 2 दिन में journal किया, I haven't journaled in months together. So
Tell me
Yeah.
about that.
Same here.
The amount of creativity I've done in these 2 days only has been too much. As
yeah,
much as I'm harping about it, it gets very difficult and challenging to put it in daily life. But I guess uh, practice what we preach, right? So in Gujarati, there is a proverb, Jagya Tarti Sawar. So it's like now, if you're aware about it now, let's start putting it into practice. Okay, what I really feel like doing is I want to take you all through like a visualization to create healthy boundaries because I feel that's coming out quite loud and strong. whether we have to be kindly saying it or whether we are unable to say it, we should be saying it with ease. That's the idea. And we should not be carrying that burden or guilt that I had to create that boundary. And I hope this is going to be beneficial to the others who eventually listen to this at a later date. Okay. So I'm welcoming you to just be comfortable wherever you are, whether you're sitting down, if you want to lie down, I don't have an issue. You want to close your eyes, go ahead and do that. The idea is to allow the physical body to relax. Because when your physical body relaxes, the mind also automatically starts relaxing. It's not a one-way street. Okay, and close your eyes gently. Take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. Let go of all the tension or any tension, stress, worries that we've had through the day. We are only looking at today. Today has been a long day, right? Though it was a Sunday, there has been a lot of work. And just take a couple of seconds to just be in this space. Now bring to your attention your own breath. Breathe in deeply through your nose and slowly exhale through your mouth. Feel your chest rise and fall as you take each breath, allowing yourself to sink deeper into relaxation with each inhale and each exhale. Now, when you're breathing in deeply, breathe in with the attention of grounding yourself. Bring your awareness to your body, starting at the top of your head and slowly scanning down to your toes. As you move through your body, notice if there are any areas of tension. Without any judgment, just observe them and allow them to soften with each breath. Now let's turn our attention inward. I invite you to reflect on the areas of your life where you feel overextended, exhausted, or drained. This could be in your work, relationships, or even within yourself. Think about moments where you felt your boundaries were crossed or where you needed to say no but didn't. As you reflect, imagine creating a safe and healthy boundary around yourself. A boundary that protects your energy and respects your time and needs. Picture this boundary as a gentle protective shield surrounding you. It's not a wall, but rather a flexible and supportive barrier that allows you to interact with the world while keeping your space sacred. Now let's focus on setting clear and loving boundaries with intention. As you visualize this protective shield, think about areas in your life where you need stronger boundaries. This could be setting limits on how much work you take on, creating time for yourself without feeling guilty, or communicating your needs more clearly in relationships. In your mind, say to yourself, I deserve to protect my time and energy. I'm worthy of healthy boundaries that support my well being. I can say no without guilt and say yes to what nourishes me. Feel the strength and empowerment that comes from honoring your boundaries. Imagine yourself confidently saying no when needed and yes to the things that align with your values and energy. Envision how these healthy boundaries will improve your work life balance and enhance your personal relationships. And as you continue to gain your space, repeat silently to yourself, I create boundaries that protect my peace. I'm in control of my time and energy. I honor myself by maintaining and setting healthy boundaries. Slowly bring your awareness back to the present moment. Feel your body resting comfortably, supported by the surface beneath you. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes and notice your breath steady and calm. And when you feel ready, open your eyes, bringing with you a sense of clarity, peace, and the empowerment to honor your boundaries. Okay. Any thoughts? You should thank yourself for taking time to create this space for yourself, because this is for your well-being. And boundaries are a form of self-care. And you have the power to set and honor them.
Thank you too.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's summarize. What were your key takeaways from this session?
Pause. Pause was my takeaway.
Okay,
Because
Setting healthy boundaries
setting healthy boundaries.
and being kind when you communicate them. I think that that is what I learned the most. Yeah.
for me, it's amazing when you said boundaries are a way of self-care. I think it's really important. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad. Great. Then I think that brings us to the end of our sessions. We have our takeaways. You have your actionable goals. You've told yourself what you're going to do in the next 24 hours. You know you can reach out. Loads of people in and around you where you can. Sometimes there are boundaries where you want to say no and you can't and you still have to do it. But you can communicate saying that, hey, this was very difficult. I've done it, and it's okay. Right? It's not going to be every day is not a Sunday. Like this Sunday, we're working. You couldn't say no to me. As much as I realized,
This was
one
more
Sunday
than
go.
welcome, actually.
Yeah, but yeah,
We've been doing this for so many years.
that we are. And I'm eternally grateful to each one of you all. So with that, let's close this session. Let's hope we bring more balance and more equilibrium in our lives, and whether it's personal or work. A little bit off. If it's totally in balance all the time, we won't like it. Thoda to jhoolna padega, because that's the fun of it. Right? Great. If you guys can join in for the closing ceremony, it will be great. We'll start at 6:30. It's a very short thing. It's more of just being thankful and a little takeaways. So I will see you all at 6:30. And yes, I will share the link because the link for that is different. Okay. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.